Good morning, everyone. I am Pranav Mahajan, and I am today here to discuss with you how to unravel the complexities of life. But let's start by doing exactly the opposite. Let's complex the things a bit further, because more the complexity, more will be the thrill. So I'll start with uh, sharing two real life incidents of two of my very close friends. So the first incident of my friend would be, there was a very close friend of mine, and he loved a girl very much. After a lot of his efforts, she finally said yes. So it was his first dream date with his girlfriend. He booked the best restaurant of the town. Everything was planned in a very meticulous manner, and everything was going on also very smoothly, right? Till all of a sudden, something really, really very weird happened. He just rose from his chair, started shouting on his girlfriend. He said all the nasty things one can imagine to her. You'll leave me one day. You are not loyal to me, and things like that. Now, isn't this is something which is very weird? Because something was going on very smoothly. All of a sudden, he behaved in a such an erratic manner. I'll come back to the reasons. The incident number 2 is again about a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, and he was to apply for a job, right? And everyone, even including me, we thought that he was the best person to get the job. He was overqualified for getting that job. On the interview day, on that recruitment day, everything was going perfectly fine for him. He cleared all the stages very comfortably, and the last stage was only where he was supposed to have a small interaction with his prospective new future boss, right? So he just entered into his chamber to meet him, to greet him, and all of a sudden, he started shouting at him. I know you, people like you, bosses like you, I have seen you are exploitative people. You'll use us and throw us, and things like that. Now, again, a very complex situation. Why these two situations were complex? Because everything was going on fine. All of a sudden, they behaved in a manner which we never expected, right? So I tried to find the reason why it happened like. So I asked my first friend that everything was very well going on in your dinner with your girlfriend. Why you behaved in such a manner? You know what he said to me? He said, Pranav, what happened? Everything was fine till the time the owner of the restaurant played a particular song. I said, what happened with that song? He told me the moment that song was played, it reminded me of my first girlfriend, right? My ex-girlfriend. And obviously he didn't have a very good memories of her. So all the bad things that he had about his first girlfriend, he vented out on his current girlfriend because of that song. Strange thing, right? I asked my second friend also, hey, Baba, what happened to you? You had got the job. Why you behaved in such a manner with your boss? He said, I don't know what happened. The moment I entered into the chamber of my future boss, the perfume, the fragrance of the perfume that he was using, it reminded me of my first boss. And his first boss was indeed a very bad person. Even I know that. So all the abuses that he had in his mind, he vented out on this person. A song and a perfume. A song and a fragrance of a perfume changed the situation so drastically that something which was totally going in their favor went diametrically opposite. Friends, welcome to the fascinating world of metaphysics. What I just discussed with you is just a very small glimpse of what the power of subconscious mind is. Now, what exactly the subconscious mind did here, right? All of you must be eager to understand. Actually understand that, we need to understand two fundamental questions over there. The first question is, how did that information was retrieved by the subconscious mind at that time? Which information I'm talking about here? I'm talking about those past informations. In the first case, his first girlfriend. In the second case, his first boss. So how was that information retrieved, right? And the second question is even more perplexing. It's even more fundamental. How at the very first place was this information stored? Who stored this information? How this who gave the permission to store this information? Because none of them stored that information. For that, none of us can consciously store this information. I'll explain it to you what I'm trying to say here. Say, for example, if I am on a date with my girlfriend, or any one of you is a date with your girlfriend or a boyfriend, you won't do like this. Say, for example, you'll close your eyes and you'll tell your girlfriend or boyfriend to please close your eyes. Now, darling, I'm listening to this song, this beautiful song, and I'm having this beautiful dinner with you. And then I'm relating in my mind with my closed eyes that this song is related to this dinner, which in turn is related to you. And then I'll register it like that. No, it never happens. Before I move further and talk a bit about subconscious mind and its role in unraveling the complexities, let us first discuss the various dimensions of the power of your subconscious mind. Now imagine if you have been given a facility wherein you have the access to all your each and every moment of your life. How fascinating and how helpful it could be. So that's point number one. The second aspect of the power of the subconscious mind is that it can register massive amount of information. Why massive? Because entire life, all the moments. It's not only your wedding, your first baby, your first job. No, each and every moment, each and every second, each and every nanosecond of your life is getting registered. So that's the second power, second attribute of the subconscious mind, its power, right? The third one is even more fascinating. It is recording all this information in a very effortless manner. It is doing it continuously, doing it at such a massive rate, and it is doing it effortlessly. You are not aware. So imagine that such a big thing is taking place in your life, such a big asset is being created for you in your life, and you don't have to put even an iota of effort into that. That's the third property of the subconscious mind. The fourth one is that it can store even those information which your conscious mind cannot. For example, your conscious mind cannot register a particular scent or a smell. Am I right? You cannot register it in your mind. So, you must have happened. Many times we say, okay, this is the perfume which my brother used, or this is the incense stick or an agarbatti which is being used in my uncle's home. Right? But these are not, you never consciously do it through your conscious mind, right? And secondly, even those things where, in the case of the song, right? How it stored that information. So, in the case of the song, not only the song was stored or registered, but the song was registered in context of somebody in a way that whenever in the future that song will be played, you will be reminded of someone. You will be reminded of some situation. So another fascinating aspect of the subconscious mind. Now, the next point is, these attributes of the subconscious mind are not only restricted to registering such information, it also applies to the retrieval of the information. Has the ability to retrieve, to get back, to fetch any information related to your life, even from your previous birth. This particular aspect of previous birth is being used in certain healing therapies as well, right? Now coming to even more fascinating aspect of next aspect of the subconscious mind, and it is that the subconscious mind has the ability to communicate with the larger cosmos. Contrast it with your conscious mind. With a conscious mind, we can communicate only with our fellow human beings. Am I right? Right. But even here there is a catch. You can communicate only with those human beings who understand the language that you are speaking. Right? So that is the limitation as far as the communication with your conscious mind is concerned. Right? But when it comes to the subconscious mind, it can communicate with the larger cosmos. I'm pretty sure majority of you must have some idea about this term cosmic intelligence. Cosmic intelligence is basically the repository of all the knowledge, of all the wisdom that is there in this entire cosmos. Imagine that cosmic intelligence to be some kind of a super server, right? So servers we all understand these days, websites and all those things, right? So it's some kind of a super server, and if like an internet, you have the access to that server, virtually everything is there in your pocket. Like we are doing it through the Google these days in our mind. So if we have a mobile with a working internet connection today, so you can virtually search or find information about virtually everything, about anything on the planet, right? Similarly, the cosmic intelligence, that's I'm saying the repository of the finest wisdom, the repository of the finest knowledge, not only the planet, of the entire cosmos. The subconscious mind is the only faculty, is the only system in this gadget, which we term as a human being, which is the access to that cosmic intelligence. So now, when you have that super duper access to that cosmic intelligence, really feel there could be any complex problem enough that we cannot solve. Really not. So that brings to me back to the topic of today, unraveling the complexity. Before just let's take 2 minutes to understand, to revisit our concept of complexity. Many of you will say, what's there to revisit in the complexity? We all know what complexity means. We have been doing, or we have been listening to this world since our childhoods. But give me a minute and I'll try to prove some point over here. Since our childhoods, we are believing that it is a particular situation or a particular problem that is complex, right? But I think this is a fundamentally flawed approach. This is a fundamentally flawed concept, understanding of the concept of complexity, and I'll tell you how. Say, for example, there is a mathematical problem. Mathematical problem, you give it to a student who is a 5th standard student, right? And it's a big complex problem for that student. He or she cannot solve that, right? Now the same problem, you give it to a class 12th student, and for that student, it's a cakewalk. Now, if our conventional understanding, what does it say? It says that it is either a problem, it's a situation which is either complex or simple. So applying that logic here, this problem, this mathematical problem should have ideally been complex or simple for both of the students. But it didn't happen like that. Now the question is, why it was complex for a class 5th student, but a cakewalk for a class 12th student? Friends, here lies the answer. The correct understanding of the complexity is, it's not a particular situation that is complex. It is our response which makes that particular situation complex, right? And our response in turn depends on our ability, our skill set. Now, friends, applying the same logic over here. The majority of our problems in our life, they seem to be complex. These days, we are complaining about stress everywhere. These days, we are complaining about anxiety everywhere. These days, we are saying, my life is in a mess, my life is chaotic, my life is complex. Why it is complex? It's not complex because it's complex per se. No, it is complex because we lack those abilities, we lack those skill sets with which those problems need to be dealt with. Essentially, what we are doing till date is, we are trying to solve all the problems of our life with the limited ability of our conscious mind only. That is where the problem lies. So with conscious mind, of course, you can find solution to some problem of your life, but many problems still left unanswered, unresolved. And those unresolved problems, we start terming them as complex, and the complexity further increases. But if you apply the skill set, the right skill set, and that right skill set in this case would be the power of your subconscious mind, the principles of metaphysics, right? So these problems will cease to exist. That is the point which we can achieve with the power of our subconscious mind. Now, one with the little few faces that I can see from here, I can give a guarantee that everybody must be having one question in their mind, and that is that, okay, if it is all true, now tell us please how to harness this potential, how to use this subconscious mind, how to use this vast and the enormous potential of the subconscious mind. But friends, that is such a vast topic which is beyond the scope of today's talk over here. But before I stop, I would definitely like to say 2 lines over here regarding how to harness the potential of our subconscious mind. That is, you need to enter into the fascinating field of metaphysics. Certain things which are beyond the understanding of the physical world as we have been understanding it till date. And secondly, to unleash this tremendous power of your subconscious mind is required your spiritual evolution. Whole lot of misunderstandings are there with the concept of spirituality, as if you have to renounce the world and you have to go to Himalayas. It's not the correct understanding. Yes, but yes, your spiritual evolution is a very important prerequisite if you really want to unleash the power of your subconscious mind. So friends, I'll sign off with a mantra that more the spirituality, less will be the complexity. Thank you so much. Thank you.